Hi, we're Ron and Wendy. We live on the coast of Maine, and this is our boat, the Mrs. H. She's a 1998 Post 42 Sportfish. In a past episode, we had throttle and gear failure due to corroded wiring harnesses. The Boatyard did some cleaning and got us through the rest of the season. Now, they have said, Ron, it's time to make a decision if you want this boat to be reliable enough for Florida and beyond. In this episode, we explore our options to fix the issues. We visit the boatyard to see where Mrs. H will spend the winter, and I take you along for a ride in our mooring tender to the boat ramp for haul out. We hope you enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Wendy and I have been doing a lot of thinking lately, and today's video is a little different. We want your help. We want to talk openly about the future of our boat and the future of our postponed trip to Florida and maybe even on to the Bahamas.
We've come to realize that now we have 3 options. None of them are perfect, and all of them come with a big price tag.
Before we dive into the 3 options, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. This is a real crossroads for us, and we want you to come along and maybe even help us with our decisions. Option number 1 is fix what we have. Our engines have only 1,400 hours, barely broken in for diesels, but the electrical connections and wiring are 26 years old. They have accumulated some corrosion, and that's where reliability becomes a concern.
If you've seen our earlier episodes, you know what we've already experienced. Some failures due to these issues.
Fixing what we have means replacing the wiring harnesses and possibly replacing the EDC units on our Volvos. The Boatyard feels this could cost $15,000 on the low end and maybe as high as $30,000 on the upper end. It all depends how much we have to replace, if parts are available, where the parts can be sourced from, or do they have to be custom made. If the EDC modules need to be replaced, they're about $7,500 each, and they're very rare.
Finding new ones would be like hunting for unicorns.
I did find a company in Norway, not Norway, Maine, that can rebuild them. That would be an option, but still pricey. Not included and yet to be assessed are the fuel lines, raw water hoses, and the exhaust system. Now, we could pay for this fix what we have option by rating our savings account, and it would only work if it stays under $20,000. But I'll be honest, I'm not optimistic that it will. It's a boat. The upside is we'd be keeping the boat in its original form with engines that we know.
He calls them his Swedish sisters.
But the downside is we'd still be running old technology with parts that are harder and harder to find.
Option 2 is the big one, Repower.
I've looked into brand new FPT engines and also remanufactured Cummins and Volvo alternatives. A pair of brand new 450 horsepower FPTs or reman Volvo or Cummins engines could cost over $100,000. And by the time you factor in installation and everything else, you're looking at an additional $50,000 or more. So yeah, $150,000 plus to make it happen, that would require us taking out a loan.
This option seems a little expensive and too expensive for me.
But the benefit is that we'd have modern, reliable engines with warranty support, and we'd also get much better fuel economy, and the new engines would be a lot quieter.
And then there's option 3, which may or may not even solve our problems.
Well, option 3 is to sell the boat and buy another one. Now, that might sound crazy, but depending on the resale and the financing that we could get, it might actually be a lower monthly payment and make more sense financially than sinking another $150,000 with this one.
But it also means saying goodbye to a boat we've come to love. This boat has brought us home safely from Maryland to Maine. I feel like she's become part of the family.
At the end of the day, the boat does run, and we've been able to handle what few issues we've had so far. Being a responsible owner means anticipating problems before they leave you stranded. And the folks at the Boatyard are right to be concerned. They've basically said, Ron, it's time to make a decision if you want this boat to be reliable enough for Florida and beyond.
And whichever option we choose, it likely means taking out a loan or giving up on boating.
So this is where we want to bring you into the conversation. I think a lot of you boaters can relate. It's not just about loving your boat. It's about balancing your boating passion, the costs, the risks, and your long-term plans. We want to know, have you faced similar choices? Have you been in a situation with your boat where you had to choose between an expensive repair or a replacement? If so, tell us. How did you handle it? Or did it cause you to give up on boating altogether?
We'd love to hear your stories in the comments below.
Seriously, your experiences could help guide us and maybe even help other people watching who are in the same boat. No pun intended.
And of course, if you haven't already, please help us and subscribe to the channel.
That way, you can follow along as we figure this out. Whether we end up rewiring these old girls, signing loan paperwork for Repower, or listing the boat for sale and start shopping for another one. This is going to be a big chapter in our boating journey, and we'd love to share it with you.
Thank you for watching. Thanks for being part of our journey, and please drop your advice in the comments.
We can't wait to hear what you would do if you were in our shoes. We'll see you on the next winter projects, and gonna stop by the town office and pay our property taxes. So off we go to Portland. Nope, I better go check the door, make sure it's tight so the dogs don't get away. So our first stop is going to be to the Harpswell town office. We have to pay our property taxes. The house taxes are escrowed through the bank, so that's a check I don't have to write. But my office taxes are not. So we have to write a check for our property taxes at the office, which include all of the equipment. You know, can you believe it? Every year we have to pay taxes on photocopier and desks and all that crazy stuff. Doesn't seem right, but it is what it is. So headed into the town office, and we'll be right back. Well, there we go. That's all paid. And off we go to the big city of Portland. Check on Mrs. H. Well, here we are on the right-hand side, Portland Yacht Services. That's where Mrs. H is gonna spend the winter. Indoors, toasty warm. Bit. Well, okay, we're inside Portland Yacht Services, one of the many buildings. So let's see if we can find Mrs. H. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. How you doing? Hi, buddy.
Come on, bud.
Okay, so I just asked, and they tell me it's way down there in the other building, and I have to drive out in order to drive back in. All right, let's see if we can go find it. Look at that. There she is, all by herself. Huh? Dum-dum-dum-dum.